Summaries of the Vachanamritam. Parthãro, Preface. The Parthãro begins with a vivid description of Akshardham, the divine abode of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, who is revered as Purushottam Narayan. This celestial dwelling is depicted as a realm of divine serenity and spiritual enlightenment. The narrative then transitions to the earthly realm, where Dharmadev, a Brahman, and his wife Bhaktidevi are subjected to harassment by malevolent demons. In response to their plight, Swaminarayan Bhagwan, in an act of divine intervention, decided to incarnate on earth. He was born to Dharmadev and Bhakti Devi in the humble village of Chapaya, India, in 1781. He was named Ghanshyam, a name that would become synonymous with divine benevolence and spiritual wisdom. At the tender age of 11, Ghanshyam renounced the comforts of home and embarked on a journey across India. Assuming the ascetic identity of Neelkantvarni, he endured numerous hardships and performed rigorous tapasya. His spiritual journey was marked by encounters with demons and false gurus, whom he defeated with his divine powers. In 1799, Neelkanta's journey led him to Ramanand Swami, a revered spiritual leader. Recognizing the divine aura of Neelkant, Ramanand Swami accepted him as a disciple and initiated him into the spiritual fold as Sahjanand Swami. Upon the demise of Ramanand Swami in 1801, Sahjanand Swami assumed the mantle of leadership of the Sampradaya. As the head, he propagated the principles of Ekantik Dharma far and wide, guiding countless souls on the path of spiritual enlightenment. The text provides an intimate portrayal of Swaminarayan Bhagwan, detailing his daily routine, interactions with devotees, and physical attributes, including the moles and marks adorning his body. It delves into his enlightening discourses, through which he dispelled ignorance and doubt, granting divine visions to his devotees. Through a series of miracles and profound teachings, he established the worship of Narayan, guiding his followers towards spiritual liberation. The purpose of this Parthãro is to enable devotees to visualize Swaminarayan Bhagwan clearly, thereby strengthening their devotion to him. It serves as a spiritual guide, illuminating the path towards divine realization and inner peace. Through this narrative, devotees are encouraged to emulate the virtues of Swaminarayan Bhagwan, fostering a deeper connection with the divine. Vachanamruts 1-262. 1. Continuously focusing the mind on Bhagwan's Murti is immensely challenging, yet it yields the highest spiritual rewards. His Murti possesses divine powers, and contemplating it fulfills all desires. 2. Individuals possessing Uttam Vairagya maintain detachment amidst both hardships and pleasures, akin to Janak Raja. Lower levels involve some degree of worldly attachment. 3. Even those capable of visualizing Bhagwan within should remember his divine acts, revere devotees, and celebrate festivals. This practice ensures remembrance of him at the time of death. 4. Jealousy towards another devotee's abilities should inspire self-improvement to please Bhagwan, not to harm others. 5. When visualization of Bhagwan's Murti during meditation becomes challenging, one should persist undeterred, placing faith in his compassion, rather than succumbing to discouragement. 6. A wise devotee identifies faults within themselves and seeks improvement. They perceive others and even Bhagwan favorably, in contrast to fools who do the opposite. 7. The Anvay and Vyatirek forms represent the united and distinct states of the Jiva, Ishwar, Maya, and Bhagwan. These should be understood. 8. Devotees should engage their senses fully in serving Bhagwan and his saint, and articulate their own spiritual strengths. However, they should refrain from imitating Bhagwan's behaviors. 9. Those with firm conviction in Pratyaksha Bhagwan should desire him alone, not the powers or experiences associated with his divine abode. 10. Avoid the company of ungrateful individuals, but forgive those who rectify their misdeeds through penance. 11. Vavitmakronisine refers to any residual worldly desires within the mind. An Ektik Bhakta lacks all desires except for Bhagwan. 12. Understand how Prakriti, Purush, and Kavitmakronel interact in creation. Comprehend the 24 elements to liberate oneself from the ignorance that binds one to worldly life. 13. Bhagwan, as the Antaryami, allocates bodies to jivas based on karma. He does not divide any single jiva into multiple entities. 14. A householder who follows Bhagwan's commands conquers more miseries than a renunciant relying solely on his own intellect. 15. To realize Bhagwan, one must persist boldly despite obstacles in concentrating on his murti within the heart during meditation. 16. A wise devotee identifies faults within themselves and rectifies them. They perceive virtues in Bhagwan, saints, and devotees. 17. Never utter words that discourage others from pursuing the spiritual path. Such behavior indicates a weak mind and weak conviction. 18. Careful engagement of the senses and satsang leads to inner purity. Do not externally imitate Bhagwan's behaviors, as the inner state differs. 19. To realize God, perfect inner renunciation, detached wisdom, devotion, and one's social duties in unison. 20. Failing to recognize one's own blissful Atma represents the pinnacle of ignorance. Strive for this knowledge, which is available through satsang. 21. To intensely please Bhagwan, one should adhere to their swadharma, which is their own duty or responsibility. They should develop Atmanishta, a steadfastness in the self, and cultivate a dislike for everything except Bhagwan. They should offer bhakti, or devotion, without any desire for rewards, and strive to understand Bhagwan's greatness. 22. While engaging in all activities, such as singing or reciting his name, one should remember Bhagwan's form. This helps to steady the vritti, or the flow of one's thoughts, on him. 23. A true bhakta, or devotee, sees Bhagwan's form within his Atma, or soul, which is beyond the three bodies, gross, subtle, and causal, and mental states. He remains unaffected by flaws or obstacles. 24. Sthiti, or a state of steadiness, can be attained by jnana, or knowledge, where one sees pure Chaitanya, or consciousness, and Bhagwan's murti, or form. This is accompanied by increasing sounds and lights. Understanding Bhagwan's flawless greatness helps to eliminate one's defects. 25. Atmanishta, or steadfastness in the self, and knowing Bhagwan's greatness leads to fulfillment. Controlling vrutis, or the flow of thoughts, on Bhagwan helps to control the mind and pran, or life force. One should follow Vartman dharma, or the present duty. 26. The true Rasik Bhakta, or the devotee who relishes divine love, loves only Bhagwan's Shabda, or sound, sparsh, or touch, and so on, not worldly pleasures. Even in thoughts, he loves only Bhagwan. 27. Bhagwan fully resides in the Bhakta which sees all wonders as due to Bhagwan and remains unaffected amidst honor or dishonor. Tolerating insults is a sign of true greatness. 28. When one falls from satsang or holy company, vicious desires increase. One sees no gun or virtues in others, but feels he alone has understanding. He understands Bhagwan's human actions negatively. 29. Pure desh, or place, time, and the company of a Satpurush, or a true saint, intensifies bhakti, or devotion. This is combined with dharma, or righteousness, jnana, or knowledge, and vairagya, or detachment. Destiny, The grace of Bhagwan and saints, and one's own efforts uplift the impure. 30. Whether disturbing thoughts leave an impression or not is due to the prevalence of sattva, raja, or tamagun, or the modes of goodness, passion, or ignorance. One can neutralize thoughts by replacing them with thoughts of satsang, or holy company. 31. A bhakta who serves Bhagwan and saints, even though he may hurt others, is better than the one who is inactive. Seeing avgun or faults in such a bhakta is a flawed vision. 32. The bhakta indulges in Bhagwan's katha, or stories, and prasad, or sanctified food, while material people indulge in worldly pleasures. Just as birds return to their nest, bhaktas find their rest in Bhagwan. 33. Taking absolute refuge in Bhagwan, with staunch faith, with love, or with an understanding of his glory, pleases him greatly. 34. People abandon the bliss of Bhagwan and pursue pains due to not following Vartman dharma or the present duty. Bhagwan's make, or illusory, affection for worldly objects attracts souls. 35. A fault-finding intellect that sees flaws in Bhagwan and saints is demonic. Krodh or anger, man or pride, Irshya or jealousy, and kapat or deceit towards them leads to such an intellect. 36. A tyagi, or renunciate, should not have affection for useless objects, but should only have love for Bhagwan. Attachment to objects shows that one still has impure desires. 37. It is difficult to forget one's birthplace and relatives. One should see their body as separate from their true self, the Atma. One should not have pride in their varna, social class, ashram, or stage of life. 38. One should constantly assess their desires and eradicate worldly ones. Recalling Bhagwan's charitras, or divine acts, occupies the mind, leaving no space for impure thoughts. One should reveal impure thoughts to someone who can help eradicate them. 39. There are two states of muktas, or liberated souls, Savikalp Samadhi, where everything is seen as separate, and Nirvikalp Samadhi, where everything is seen as Brahman, or the ultimate reality. Different views of Satya, or truth, and Asatya, or untruth, arise from these different states. 40. Bhakti is offering worship to Bhagwan in 9 ways. Upasana is having a firm belief that Bhagwan's Swarup, or form, is Sakar, or has a form. 41. Shriji Maharaj explains that Purushottam Bhagwan resides in all entities as their cause and Antaryami, though to varying degrees. He enters and inspires them all, but does not become them. 42. Shriji Maharaj says Vidhi and Nishid prescribed in Shastras are true. One who calls them false speaks foolishly. Even Shankaracharya prescribed rules for his disciples. 43. Shriji Maharaj explains why a Nishkam Bhakta does not desire the 4 types of mukti residing in Bhagwan's dharma, staying near him, attaining a swarup like his, attaining powers like his. The Bhakta only wishes to serve Bhagwan. 44. Shriji Maharaj says the characteristic of having love for Bhagwan is constantly remembering his murti. Worldly thoughts distress a loving bhakta. Love develops from the company of Satpurush. 45. Shriji Maharaj says Purushottam Bhagwan is eternally Sakar. The divine light of Purushottam that pervades everything is Nirakar Brahm, but Purushottam himself has a murti. 46. Shriji Maharaj explains Akash is the supporter of all and is never merged, neither in Sushupti nor Samadhi. He describes the creation and destruction of Mayak Akash evolving from Tamogun. 47. Shriji Maharaj describes the characteristics of bhaktas whose main strengths are in following dharma, atmanishtha, vairagya, and bhakti. one who adheres to all four strengths is superior. 48. Shriji Maharaj instructs Haribhaktas to daily perform puja of Narnarayan Murti and pray for protection from kusang of Kudapanthis, Shaktipanthis, Shushka Vedantis, and Nastiks. 49. Shriji Maharaj says a bhakta's vritti never remains on anything except Bhagwan. Gazing at Bhagwan's murti keeps the vritti fixed on him. 50. Shriji Maharaj says one who safeguards his kalyan, though limited in intellect, has a sharp intellect. One who knows shastras yet neglects kalyan has a blunt intellect. 51. Bhagwan Shri Swaminarayan explains that Maya objects can only be realized through Maya means. However, when a jiva realizes Bhagwan's greatness and divinity through a saint, the jiva's indriyas and antahkarans also become divine. Then the jiva can develop nishchay in Bhagwan through those divine faculties. 52. Bhagwan Shri Swaminarayan describes how Bhagwan is understood in the four shastras, Sankhya, Yoga, Vedanta, and Pancharatra. One who understands Bhagwan through all four gets complete enlightenment. Relying on only one leads to deficiencies. 53. Seeing gun in a sadhu leads to progress in satsang. Seeing flaws leads to decline. Flaws should only be seen if workmen are broken, not for other reasons. 54. Bhakti towards an ekantik sadhu who has swadharma, jnana, vairagya, and bhakti opens the gateway to moksha. Strictly following God's agna leads to determination in dharma. 55. A person's determination in bhajan and workman's declines due to unpleasant circumstances. Uttam determination may decline due to even small disturbances. Past merits and sins also affect this. 56. Of the four types of bhaktas, the Jnani Bhakta is best as he sees himself as Brahmaswarup. Pride is a flaw that limits one's greatness. Upasana of Bhagwan is needed to realize Atma and Atma Vivek. 57. Knowledge of Bhagwan's nature and greatness are the greatest means to moksha. Love for God should be blind faith, not based on logic, to be unbreakable. 58. The three causes for being disturbed in bhajan are the body, bad company, and past sanskars. Pleasing a great saint can remove bad sanskars. 59. To develop a unique love for God, one must realize His greatness as the master of all abodes, beyond Maya and the three gunas. 60. An ekantik sadhu has no worldly desires and sees all vishais equally. Following the agna of a desireless saint and realizing God's greatness eradicates worldly desires. 61. To remain calm amidst lust, anger, greed, etc., one must have firm Atmanishtha and realize they are the Atma distinct from the body. At the time of death, Atmanishtha alone is not enough. One needs firm Nishchay, faith, in Bhagwan. Bhagwan becomes bound to his bhakta who offers exclusive devotion with no other desires. 62. One who develops perfect Nishchay in Bhagwan acquires his divine qualities. This Nishchay realizes Bhagwan is beyond kal, karma, etc. Insulting a humble bhakta of Bhagwan leads to suffering, as Bhagwan is antaryami in all. 63. One with deficient Nishchay oscillates between joy and sorrow based on seeing Bhagwan's powers. One with perfect Nishchay has constant joy. Bhagwan's greatness explained, he assumes human form to uplift souls though he is beyond all. Signs of perfect Nishchay in Bhagwan include willing acceptance of his commands and inability to live without his satsang. 64. Atma and Akshar are shareers of Bhagwan as he pervades them, while they depend on and are powerless before him. Bhagwan assumes human form directly for the welfare of souls, not necessarily via the tattvas. 65. Creation-destruction of space related to contraction-expansion of the body's internal spaces over life stages. Sushumna Nadi connects the subtle body to cosmic realms. The Jiva's experiences are due to the interplay of Bhagwan's Ichha Shakti, Gyan Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. 66. Bhagwan's Sagun and Nirgun forms are both divine. Nirgun words do not imply a lack of form. Bhagwan's words are only understood properly by Ekantik Bhaktas, others misinterpret them. 67. To acquire Satpurusha's qualities, see their own insignificance and his greatness in Bhagwan Bhakti. Not acquiring qualities by seeing defects in Satpurush. 68. Bhagwan resides in 8 types of murtis and saints, so they deserve respect. Disrespect leads to a nashtik attitude towards Bhagwan and Satsang. 69. Non-violence is sadhu dharma, violence is for worldly goals. Never think cruelly of others or associate with nashtiks. 70. Mind's indulgent thoughts due to past kusang, sadhu thoughts due to present sadhu sang. Strengthen latter. Prarabdha suffering is greatly reduced for sadhu's disciple. Nishchay shouldn't be for material wants. 71. Bhagwan forgives all mistakes of his devotees except insulting another devotee. Denying Bhagwan's form is a grave mistake. When Bhagwan incarnates, he brings his divine abode and powers with him, though they remain invisible. His devotees can see this during Samadhi. One should not doubt or desire to see Brahmapur, etc. if one has found Bhagwan himself on earth. Bhagwan accepts offerings of devotees to give them divine experiences. 72. A devotee with firm faith in Bhagwan is protected by Bhagwan's grace despite unfavorable circumstances. Humility and compassion are important. Bhagwan's actions seem human but are for the welfare of souls. His true devotees see these as divine pastimes to be celebrated. 73. Semen is the nature of lust. Discharging it leads to lust. Controlling it leads to brahmacharya. Only Narnarayan Rishi perfectly conquered lust. Bhagwan behaves as a human when incarnated but remains divine. Apparent flaws in his pastimes are misunderstood by the ignorant. 74. One's detachment and understanding are tested in difficult situations. We should accept whatever pleases God. 75. Family members who love and appreciate a devotee of God also attain liberation due to that devotee. 76. Bhagwan does not get along with devotees having krodha, ishya, deceit or pride, or those with lust. 77. Abandoning dharma in the name of devotion is demonic. True devotees acquire God's redemptive qualities. 78. Mind is purified or polluted based on the 8 factors of Desh, Kal, Kriya, Sang, Mantra, Dhyan, Diksha, Shastra. Good Sang is key. 79. Conquering the mind means detaching the senses from worldly pleasures. This requires self-knowledge and knowledge of God's greatness. 80. Develop a love for God through good speech, seva, single-minded darshan, Shravan, control of the senses, and detachment from worldly pleasures. 81. Shriji Maharaj explains that if either the physical or mental puja of Bhagwan is performed by a bhakta, it is superior if done with love and devotion. But if done mechanically, it is inferior. He says true bhaktas have ever-renewing shraddha and understanding of Bhagwan's greatness, like Muktanand Swami. 82. Shriji Maharaj explains how to clearly distinguish between Atma and non-Atma. One should realize, I am Atma, not the body, and think of Purushottam Bhagwan. This wisdom frees one from worldly desires. Even if some remain, a bhakta will become a dev, then human again, and eventually attain Bhagwan's dham. 83. Bhakti, coupled with understanding Bhagwan's greatness, defeats worldly desires. Other qualities may come and go, but these remain. Bhakti, without such understanding, will be destroyed before maturing. 84. Shriji Maharaj explains how the waking, green, and deep sleep states each have the other two states within them. The fourth state of Turiya witnesses these states and gives the fruits of karma. He also explains the four types of speech. 85. Wherever the Indriyas' vrittis towards Vishais are blunted is Namishranya Kshetra. Religious deeds done there flourish rapidly. Association with a sadhu is also such a place. 86. Irsya arises from the ego. One with Irsya cannot tolerate others being honored over himself. Extreme Irsya cannot tolerate anyone's greatness. 87. The dharmas of yugs arise due to the gunas. Sattva guna brings Satyayug, Rajas guna brings Tretha, Rajastamas guna brings Dwapar, and Tamas guna brings Kaliyug. Firm faith in Bhagwan's words destroys sins and brings Satyayug. 88. One who follows dharma is trusted by all. One who follows adharma is not trusted and dislikes saints. To attain Kalyan, follow dharma and keep satsang. Even if insulted, never abandon satsang. 89. Vairagya, Brahmacharya, Shraddha, Ahimsa, and Atmanishtha lead to moksha. Bhagwan's grace makes one ekantik. Deficiencies lead to lower loks, but never narak. Grace comes when deficiencies are removed. 90. Atmanishtha, Swadharma, and Nishchay in Bhagwan remain constant. Others come and go. To think of Atma, observe the Antahkaran and withdraw the Indriyas' vrittis. Perform dhyan on Bhagwan only when the mind is pure. 91. True Nishchay in Bhagwan comes from the Shastras, not just from one's own mind. Nishchay from the Shastras is unshakable. Without knowing the Shastras, people would not be able to follow dharma. The Shastras have spread dharma in society through generations. A person who loses Nishchay in Bhagwan never had true Nishchay based on the Shastras. Such a person is stubborn and Nastik. 92. If a bhakta falls from Vaikuntha or Golok, it is by Bhagwan's wish, not due to any flaw of the bhakta. Laziness and infatuation are forms of Maya. A bhakta should remain vigilant to eradicate them through Bhagwan's glory. A careless bhakta is not superior to one who is vigilant in eradicating laziness and infatuation. The diligent bhakta is like a faithful wife, while the careless one is like an unfaithful woman. 93. The gopis were very wise, with understanding beyond ordinary scholars. Their wisdom inspired the qualities of Atmanishtha and Vairagya. There were three types of gopis, Mugdha, Madhya, and Praudha. Praudha gopis were the best as they only wished to please Bhagwan. A bhakta with a deep love for Bhagwan but no Atmanishtha or Vairagya is inferior to one with less apparent love but with Atmanishtha and Vairagya. 94. Narnarayan's tap in Badrikashram benefits only the bhaktas of Bhagwan, not others. Due to his tap, bhaktas easily attain Kalyan. 95. As a bhakta's vision becomes subtler, he increasingly realizes Bhagwan's greatness and unlimited nature. His servitude towards Bhagwan strengthens. As a bhakta's spiritual state becomes higher, like that of higher muktas, he realizes Bhagwan's greatness more and attains a higher mukti level. 96. Good company awakens noble qualities like Vairagya, while bad company destroys them. It is like saline land on which plants cannot grow until the salt is washed away. Flames of bhakti are extinguished by bad company, like fire by water. But the flame of a bhakta with understanding survives, like lightning in rain. Swabhavs can be removed by keeping their account, examining oneself, and following niyams with a saint. 97. Nishchay in Bhagwan develops from Indriyas to Antahkaran to Jeev. Nishchay in the Jeev is unshakable, like an anchor lodged deep in the seabed. Bhaktas can realize Bhagwan through Indriyas and Antahkaran because he assumes a human form out of compassion for the Kalyan of Jeeves. 98. A Bhakta who keeps seeing flaws in Bhagwan has a cursed intellect. It can be purified by following niyams more strictly than others. Karmas are formless, but their fruits have form. 99. Shuk Muni is a great sadhu whose enthusiasm keeps increasing. Internal qualities cannot be judged by external behavior. One should examine a person's childhood as well as adulthood. Faults of the body should be removed by bodily restraints, and faults of the mind should be removed by thinking of the Atma. 100. Buddhi's awareness is due to Jeev, and Jeev's awareness is due to the witness, Bhagwan. That which has form can still be all-pervading, like fire latent in wood. Bhagwan has form in Akshardham but is still Antaryami. 101. Bhagwan assumes an avatar on earth only to fulfill the desires of his beloved bhaktas who have an intense love for him. He does not do so out of any weakness or inability to grant salvation without an avatar. Bhagwan assumes human form to shower love upon his bhaktas and suppresses his own powers to behave with them intimately as a friend or relative. 102. Bhagwan is pleased with bhaktas who become free of lust, anger, greed, deceit, ego, envy, and jealousy and offer him pure devotion. Of these flaws, jealousy is the root of all and the most difficult to eradicate. It arises from women, wealth, delicious food, or ego. True bhaktas remain detached from worldly pleasures and maintain firm love only for Bhagwan. 103. For householders, fixing the mind constantly on God is possible by renouncing attachment to relatives, keeping saintly company, and relying on God's grace. True detachment arises from an unflinching fascination with God's words, not temporarily. Otherwise, it leads to ruin. Attaining God's blissful abode requires realizing His divine human form as the sole doer beyond the three gunas. 104. God's Nirgun aspect refers to His subtlety as the indwelling self of all entities. His Sagun aspect refers to His immense size containing all creation. His original human-like form combines both aspects. Bhaktas will benefit from understanding this. 105. A sadhu with stubborn hatred like a buffalo cannot be considered saintly. Hatred of God's bhakta arises from ignorance of His glory. One should see devotees as divine and overlook their flaws. This understanding comes from realizing God's greatness. 106. For sadhus, pleasing God comes from performing austerity, offering Him loving devotion, and maintaining His worship, not lavish offerings. One should shun those who deny the Supreme Lord as the all-doer and seek to please Him through tapasya, realizing He alone does everything. 107. True devotees act according to God's wishes, not their selfish desires. He remains with them even if sent away against their will. Such love comes from offering the ego as the indwelling self, following injunctions, and realizing God's glory. 108. Ignorance in the form of the current body sticks to the soul. God's words and meditation burn it away. The soul empowers the faculties. Thus, remembrance strengthens hearing in the subtle body despite Rajoguna. 109. Anger is a fatal disease. It makes one suffer, deviate from dharma, and appear ugly. A sadhu must be calm. Lust is removed by self-realization, brahmacharya, dispassion, and knowing God's glory. Detachment develops from an uninterrupted fascination with God. 110. Complete faith arises from total conviction in God's words, self-knowledge, courage before senses, or loving devotion like a faithful wife. This removes fear of death. The cause may be subtle yet produce a vast effect. So, God's human-like form contains infinite universes. Only fools think otherwise. 111. Shriji Maharaj describes the characteristics of a person who has firm faith, nishchay, in God and his saint. Such a person would abandon anything, including family and possessions, for the sake of God and his saint. Shriji Maharaj gives examples of devotees like Rajput Galuji, Kushal Kumwarbai, Parvatbhai, Rajbai, Jivubai, Ladubai, Mota Rambai, Dada Khachar, Mancha Bhakta, Mulji Brahmachari, Ladhibai, and Matizi who demonstrated such firm faith. 112. Shriji Maharaj explains that God resides in his divine abode but appears in different forms in different universes to please his devotees while remaining in one place. God's divine form is eternal, yet he appears in avatars like Matsya, Kurma, etc. as needed, displaying appropriate powers. His methods may seem wondrous, but his powers are unfathomable. Happiness, not distress, is crucial for devotion. One should happily follow God's commands, never becoming upset. 113. To be honest, one should reveal inner weaknesses in following spiritual vows to a saint, as well as any faults perceived in a saint. Doubts about one's faith in God should also be confessed. Deceitfulness can be recognized by keeping company and observing all behaviors. Flaws recently developed are easier to overcome than long-standing ones. Firm faith in God maintains other spiritual activities in difficult times. 114. To develop detachment, realize the nature of time and the impermanence of all things. Discourses on the Upanishads and scriptures lead to spiritual knowledge. Listening to scriptures on rituals develops moral conduct. Hearing of God's divine forms develops devotion. 115. Perfect spiritual knowledge involves realizing God through the senses, intellect, and direct experience. Such knowledge leads to absolute liberation. Firmly held assumptions are inadequate. 116. Maturity or restlessness in children is mainly due to their company, though it is partly due to past karma. Addictions are due to habit, not destiny. Overcoming senses depends on controlling contact with pleasures, fasting, and serving saints. 117. To control the senses and mind, one should learn control methods from saints, realize God's greatness from scriptures, and apply rationale for one's betterment. Senses are controlled by controlling senses. Constant remembrance of God maintains other spiritual activities. 118. One should understand God's glory, take refuge in Him, and happily follow His wishes, never becoming miserable. Disturbing thoughts during meditation should be countered by loudly chanting God's name. 119. The righteous realize flaws in worldly pleasures and take refuge in God. The ignorant find happiness in blind faith in God. Detachment enables one to enjoy necessities without dependence. 120. Shriji Maharaj classifies faith in God as savikalp, with assumptions, or nirvikalp, without assumptions, and as being of lower, medium, or highest levels. The highest savikalp faith persists regardless of God's actions. The highest nirvikalp faith realizes God's divine abode as supreme and worships the supreme God. 121. To not be overcome by unpleasant circumstances, one must withdraw the senses, remain steadfast in the self, maintain dispassion for worldly pleasures, and have unwavering faith in God coupled with knowledge of His greatness. Even great beings like Brahma and Shiva can be overcome without this. Steadfastness in God is the key. 122 Shankaracharya leaned towards Advait, Ramanuj towards Visishtadvaita, recognizing God as greater than all, and Vallabhacharya focused on bhakti. But Shriji Maharaj's own preference is to worship Purushottam Narayan, with bhakti like that of the gopis, dispassion like Shukdev and Jadbharat, following dharma and having an intense love for God's greatness. 123 The jiva pervades the body through its powers, but its awareness is more apparent in the indriyas and antakarans due to their purity. To realize the true nature of Atma, one must attain nirvaran drishti, not perceiving distinctions of indriyas and antakarans. Bhagwan resides as the refuge of all these faculties, though his swarup is not distinguishable from the jiva, purush, or akshar except for one who receives divine vision. 124 Blunting of worldly desires happens when vrittis withdraw easily. Uprooting happens with Gyan, Vairagya, Dharma and Bhakti. Bhakti with knowledge of God's powers eradicates all flaws. Criticizing devotees turns all merits into demerits. Pride perceives flaws in others. 125 Recognizing one's flaws indicates intelligence. Not doing so is foolishness, even if one seems wise. To avoid perceiving flaws in saints, one must realize God's greatness and that of His saints. Otherwise, even honor may cause dislike. 126 Developing faith in God's divine form is difficult. Perceiving human traits leads to doubts and falling from satsang. His original form is divine, beyond senses, supremely blissful. Avatars are assumed for specific purposes, but he retains his divinity. 127 To realize worldly pleasures as repulsive, contemplate God's supreme bliss. Inferior pleasures are like begging versus a merchant's home. Keeping this in mind, strive only for God's abode, not being tempted by worthless worldly pleasures. 128 Yoga sees God as the 26th reality beyond 24 elements. Sankhya sees him as the 25th. Both have flaws. The correct understanding is knowing that God is distinct and worshipping His form. But do not see Him as comprised of other principles. 129 To eradicate ego and envy, one must recognize one's flaws through intelligence. Outward intelligence with unawareness is useless. Love is Maya. Offer selfless love to God's form, not through sensory experiences which can mislead. 130 Perceiving human-like actions leads to doubts. Understand His divine and human forms through the Shastras. As a human, He exhibits human traits suited for devotees, but divinity is apparent to the wise. Both forms are true. 131 Pride is appropriate when defending satsang and Bhagwan from offenders. Before Bhagwan and His saints, one should be humble like a servant. 132 Shriji Maharaj explains Krishna's avatars demonstrate all divine powers, so Krishna's avatar is the greatest. Firm faith in Pratyaksha Krishna leads to Kalyan even if one disobeys Agna due to Kusang. 133 Perceiving God's human-like phases of life is due to Maya. Through a magician analogy, Shriji Maharaj explains how God's form remains eternal and unchanged, though it may appear human-like on earth. 134 Attachment to Panch Vishais causes moh. It can be overcome by strengthening Atma Gyan, Brahma Gyan and realizing God's greatness. Equanimity towards Vishais indicates moh is eradicated. 135 Desires for Vishais arise externally through Indriyas, not internally. Control the Indriyas, see oneself as Atma distinct from them, and find bliss in Atma to overcome Vishais. 136. The Rasik path can lead to downfall through lustful thoughts. Brahma Gyan can lead to believing oneself as God. Bhakti with Gyan, like a Pativrata, avoids these pitfalls. 137. If forced to choose between Dharma and Bhakti, constantly think of God. Realize His alokik nature, unaffected by Maya, to enable constant thought of God. 138. A Bhakta should have Pativrata fidelity to God and courage against offenders. He should side with God's Bhaktas, not Vaimukhs. 139. The Vidhi and Nishid prescribed by great saints are genuine and lead to Kalyan. Doubt in them indicates a sinful, Nastic mindset. 140. The nature of the Chit makes it attached to any object recalled. Realize the self as distinct from the fickle Chit. 141. Keep the Ekadshi fast to control the 11 Indriyas. Listen to Kathas and do not let the Indriyas indulge in their objects. 142. Never criticize Bhagwan's Swarup. Faith in his Swarup leads to Akshardham even if one falters in following Agnas. 143. Bhagwan has a divine Murti. He is not Nirakar. Have firm Nishchay in him. 144. Offer all karmas to Bhagwan to turn them into bhakti instead of desires for dharma, arth, and kam. A bhakta's actions are non-karma, though they appear as karma. 145. Be vigilant in controlling indriyas through prescribed niyams. This conquers desires more than just having vairagya. 146. Have willpower over indriyas and antahkarans like a king following the art of ruling. This personal effort is key for Kalyan. 147. Unwavering Nishchay in Bhagwan is Nirvikalp Samadhi. Such a bhakta is Nirgun. 148. Keep hatred towards inner enemies like Kam, Krodh. This thought can destroy them. 149. One attached to Bhagwan will not leave satsang. The ability to withstand jokes and sarcasm indicates staying on the path. 150. Shraddha leads to quick enlightenment. Realize Bhagwan's greatness to strengthen Shraddha. Follow niyams to conquer indriyas. A bhakta does not perceive flaws in Bhagwan's actions. Unwavering Nishchay in Bhagwan's nature makes one sthitapragya. 151. The company of Nastiks and Shushkavedantis is the worst type of bad company. They do not believe Bhagwan loves his bhaktas or is patitpavan. Even a person who has committed great sins can be redeemed if he has faith in Bhagwan. But Nastiks and Shushkavedantis can never be redeemed. 152. Hearing Shushkavedanti Shastra causes distress as it dispels the upasana of Bhagwan. Shriji Maharaj issues an agna that bhaktas should have singular faith in the avatar of Shri Krishna Narayan and do puja. Do not worship devs or do dhyan of sadhus. Women bhaktas should have bhakti like Sitaji and gopis. Men should have bhakti like Nardaji. 153. The sense of knowing and strength of indriyas increases for one who attains samadhi. One who does tap yoga gains siddha dasha like Shukji. Grahasthas following the pravritti path gain knowledge but not siddhi. Knowledge gained in samadhi is not destroyed. The strength of indriyas increases for one who leaves pravritti for nivritti. 154. Bhagwan is the cause of all, including desh, kal, karma and maya. The wise see the predominant factor. Fools think one factor is always the main principle. Bhagwan allows factors of desh, kal, karma and maya to be predominant. They are all dependent on him. 155. Loyal bhaktas want to attain Bhagwan's dham in this life and are not tempted by anything. Those identifying with the body have weak thoughts. Bhaktas should serve Bhagwan and saints and not impose authority on others when gaining power. This pleases Bhagwan. 156. Firmness in yoga keeps vritti fixed on Bhagwan's murti. Firmness in Sankhya gives an understanding of limited worldly pleasures. Firmness in both yoga and Sankhya ensures no obstacles in bhakti. 157. The nature of the mind is like the heat of summer and the frost of winter. It becomes hot or cold by Vishais and causes a fall. A Param Bhagavat's mind remains unmoved by Vishais. 158. A Tyagi with worldly desires is reborn to indulge and ultimately develops Vairagya. A desireless Grahastha attains Bhagwan's Dham. Pleasing Bhagwan means remaining humble when gaining power and not competing with saints. 159. Do not do anything that displeases Bhagwan and saints. Abandon those who hinder bhakti. Suppress even Gyan, Vairagya, and Dharma if they become obstacles in bhakti. See Gun in Satsangis and Avgun in oneself. 160. Accepting Bhagwan's and Guru's advice positively earns affection. Reacting negatively earns displeasure. Perceiving Gun in oneself and Avgun in Bhaktas leads to obstacles and becoming Vimukh. Shriji Maharaj built mandir and relaxed Tyag to preserve Upasana which was diminishing due to extreme Tyag. 161. Serving Bhaktas of God pleases God. God becomes displeased when Bhaktas are insulted. 162. Signs of deep attachment to God include willingness to hear about God even when exhausted, finding relief from miseries when hearing about God, and forgetting worldly attachments when hearing about God. 163. Gold and women are sources of intense worldly attachment. One can become detached by realizing the truth of the Atma and worshipping God. 164. This explains the nature of Jiva, Ishwar, Maya, Brahm and Parabrahm. Jiva and Ishwar are bound by Maya, while Brahm and Parabrahm are beyond Maya. 165. To attain liberation, focus on worshipping God's form, reading scriptures and chanting God's name. Self-realization alone is difficult. Follow prescribed rules to maintain dharma. 166. For God's pleasure, associate with good surroundings and avoid bad influences. Control the mind, senses, and body to observe the vow of Nishkam. 167. The Indriyas and Antahkarans are products of Maya and Jad, though they appear Chaitanya due to the Jiva's presence. 168. Worshipping God's form is an easy path to liberation when compared to self-realization alone. Follow dharma, worship God, and chant His name. 169. Act firmly on the teachings to develop faith. Follow dharma, worship God's form, listen to His leelas, and chant His name. Avoid improper influences. 170. To fix the mind on God, let it become absorbed, be brave, fear births, deaths, and develop dispassion by realizing the Atma's distinction from the body. 171. True bhaktas have faith only in Bhagwan, not in charms or spells. Mucha Bhakta was an example of an Ekantik Bhakta who threatened an alchemist and drove him away when he offered to teach him how to make gold. 172. Shriji Maharaj describes his own natural qualities: detachment from sense pleasures, the ability to withdraw the mind inwards, firm belief in Sagun Bhagwan, and affinity only for true bhaktas. He asks the Paramahansas to share their natural qualities too. 173. Shriji Maharaj performed an extra dandavat to atone for any offences committed towards bhaktas. Offending or harming a bhakta is the greatest sin, while serving them brings the highest merit. 174. Bhaktas perform bhakti out of pride and desire for praise, like a dog chewing a bone and enjoying the taste of its own blood. True bhaktas like Ratanji and Miyaji offer bhakti selflessly to please Bhagwan. 175. Descriptions of the Sagun and Nirgun forms of Akshar Brahman are given. Countless Brahmans exist like atoms in the Sagun Akshar. Bhagwan takes birth in different forms in different Brahmans while remaining in Akshardham. 176. The avatars of Bhagwan not only descend to establish Varnashram Dharma. They do so specifically to establish the dharma of Ekantik Bhaktas. Falling from Ekantik Dharma is truly death for them. 177. Bhaktas who attain the Gunatit state and behave as the Atma have a love for Bhagwan in the form of Brahmswarup. Acharyas such as Vallabhacharya expounded on this principle. 178. Religious people see flaws in themselves but not in other bhaktas, while demonic people see flaws in others but not in themselves. 179. Pleasing Bhagwan's saints leads to happiness in this world and his abode after death. Displeasing them leads to suffering and lower realms. 180. A Satpurush is grieved if one's mind falls from Bhagwan's path, not by worldly loss or gain. One should aspire to be Brahmswarup like Narad and Sankadik to perform bhakti after becoming Nirgun. 181. Being born in the company of a saint is very fortunate. One who constantly remembers Bhagwan will attain Akshardham. Worldly pleasures are insignificant compared to remembering Bhagwan. 182. Bhagwan's Swarup is divine, and worldly forms are temporary. Ignorant people see no difference between the two. Darshan and remembrance of Bhagwan's Swarup will liberate one from Maya. 183. Shriji Maharaj's fundamental principle is loving devotion to Bhagwan and his bhaktas. He has no interest in anything worldly. He wishes to instill the same detachment in his devotees. 184. One cannot be happy by disobeying a Satpurush. Follow the dharma prescribed for your ashram to experience pleasant circumstances. This signifies one who behaves as the Atma. 185. Never confuse the distinct paths of a Tyagi and a Grahastha. Offer bhakti to God and Guru with Shraddha, not jealousy. 186. When under illusion, one cannot perceive one's own faults. To find faults in God or his bhaktas is the height of ignorance. 187. True satsang means developing a profound love for God's bhaktas. One attached to God's bhaktas is not bothered by dishonor or unpleasantness. 188. Perform bhakti after becoming Brahmrup and detached from Maya. Be vigilant so Maya does not infiltrate the Atma. 189. Shriji Maharaj's mind is constantly dispassionate towards worldly pleasures. He engages in activities only for the sake of bhaktas. 190. A deep love for God is very precious. True devotees' love remains unshaken amidst any circumstance. 191. Shriji Maharaj discusses how sampradayas flourish. He says sampradayas flourish by knowing the purpose, charitras, and behavior of their Ishtadev. The Shastra that narrates the charitras of the Ishtadev advances the sampradaya, not the other Shastra. 192. Shriji Maharaj says only Bhagwan and his saint can grant Kalyan. Bhagwan's saint is even greater than Shiv, Brahma and other devs. Attaining Bhagwan or his saint is the ultimate Kalyan for a Jeev. 193. Shriji Maharaj shares how the constant awareness of the distinct Atma, the perishable nature of worldly objects, and Bhagwan's greatness prevent disturbances amid difficulties. Loyalty to Bhagwan's bhaktas brings Kalyan. Grudges against Bhagwan's bhaktas remain forever unresolved. 194. Shriji Maharaj says a firm satsangi has three qualities, follows Ishtadev's niyams unto death, unshakable nishchay in Bhagwan, and loyalty to Vaishnav bhaktas like family. These led to Kalyan. 195. Shriji Maharaj describes how Atmanishta, Pativrata, and Seva give strength to Kalyan. Atmanishta realizes the Atma as Brahmrup. Pativrata loves Bhagwan like a wife loves a husband. Seva serves like Hanuman Uddhav. 196. Shriji Maharaj says serving Bhagwan and his bhaktas gives more strength to the Jeev than behaving as just the Atma. No human traits should be seen in Bhagwan's bhaktas as they are murtis of Brahm. 197. Shriji Maharaj says Shri Krishna Bhagwan is the source of all avatars. His Akshardham is beyond Prakriti Purush. Bhagwan blesses bhaktas to know him fully. 198. Shriji Maharaj reveals himself as Shri Krishna Purushottam. Akshardham supports countless Brahmans forever. Avatars occur when Brahmans end, but others still exist. 199. Shriji Maharaj says Bhakti, Atmanishtha, and Vairagya together are perfect. Atmanishtha lacks Bhakti. Bhakti without Atmanishtha loves other things too. Both lack completeness. 200. Shriji Maharaj says one who offends a bhakta cannot see their own faults or others' virtues. Like a red-hot iron ball, plead to Bhagwan to erase unknown faults. Nishchay in Bhagwan never wavers. 201. Nirvikalp Samadhi is attained by having firm faith in Bhagwan's Swarup, regardless of whether one's pranas are controlled. Spiritual efforts are still beneficial even if one fails to conquer the mind. 202. Bhagwan is pleased when he is realized as the all-doer, not Maya, Karma, etc. His nature is understood through the 5 Shastras, Ved, Sankhya, Yog, Pancharatra, Pashupat. 203. Of the 4 qualities of an Ekantik Bhakta, Bhakti coupled with knowing Bhagwan's greatness includes the others. It is attained by serving an Uttam saint. 204. Keeping the company of a saint with 30 qualities includes all spiritual activities. This is a description of how a yogi focuses his vritti on Bhagwan's murti inside and outside. 205. A firm bhakta has gone beyond Maya by realizing Bhagwan is beyond the 3 gunas, though they remain within him. These are the characteristics of taking refuge in Bhagwan. 206. At dissolution, Jeeves remain absorbed in Maya with their current bodies and karmas. In creation, they get various bodies by Bhagwan's will based on their karmas. Kala, karma, and Bhagwan's will predominate according to circumstances. 207. Bhagwan is Anvay and Vyatirek, pervading Maya but untouched by it. Demonic nature is extremely difficult to change. 208. To fix vritti on Bhagwan's murti, the Jeev should become pure and realize its distinction from the 3 bodies. The vritti goes from tamasic to nirgun like Bhagwan. 209. To experience Bhagwan's nirgun bliss, the samadhi of Chidakash with Bhagwan's murti at the center is described. It is eternal, unlike temporary mayak pleasures. 210. For moksha, one should realize Bhagwan's characteristics when he incarnates as king or sadhu and serve him or his saint accordingly. 211. Shriji Maharaj says he is afraid of harming Bhagwan, his bhakta, a Brahman, or a humble person because that destroys the Jeev. Harming these 4 leads to the Jeev attaining an inanimate state from which it cannot attain liberation. One should not keep pride before Bhagwan or his bhakta, as it leads to inner enemies that make bhakti demonic. 212. Bhagwan appears on earth in human form for the liberation of Jeevs. The Jeev, recognizing and developing firm faith in Bhagwan progresses spiritually. Doubting Bhagwan's actions leads to downfall, like a tree being cut at the roots. 213. Though Bhagwan pervades everywhere, he has a definite form residing in one place. Like a magnet attracting iron from a distance, Bhagwan gives darshan everywhere by his powers while abiding in one place. 214. Sinful people become pure by sincerely appreciating Bhagwan and his saint. Criticizing Bhagwan's saint is a greater sin than violating one's dharma or the 5 major sins. 215. Religious and demonic jeeves emerge from Maya at creation with their inherent natures. A Satpurusha's grace makes one religious, and their wrath makes one demonic. 216. Bhagwan's bliss is supreme, worldly pleasures are like hell in comparison. Desire for worldly pleasures should be renounced for exclusive focus on Bhagwan. 217. Conquering Indriyas means developing a hatred for worldly pleasures and offering exclusive bhakti to Bhagwan. Seva of Bhagwan's bhakta is true bhakti, one following nivritti only is inferior. 218. Key facts are explained about Uddhav Sampradaya, Guru Parampara, scriptures, niyams, and understanding of Bhagwan's Swarup. 219. Bhagwan's bhaktas should love only him, not worldly pleasures which are like excrement compared to his bliss. 220. Janak Raja sets an example of being undisturbed on the path of pravritti by firm spiritual understanding. 221. Shriji Maharaj describes a powerful form of dhyan where one visualizes the sun in the right eye and the moon in the left eye, then switches them, then sees them in the heart along with one's jeev and Bhagwan. This grants extraordinary siddhis. 222. The bhakta who worships Bhagwan in a pure state after washing and bathing is better than one who worships with a polluted mind. The bhakta that becomes Brahmrup by overcoming Maya is the best type of bhakta. 223. To avoid being bound by the Pach Vishais, focus the mind on Bhagwan's Murti with Atmanishtha to attain Upsham. Bhaktas should serve Bhagwan to please him, not to display to others. 224. True bhakti requires Vivek and Vairagya to avoid worldly attachment and Atmanishtha to see past bodily pleasures and pains. Loyal bhaktas see no faults in Bhagwan. 225. Bhakti coupled with knowing Bhagwan's greatness encounters no obstacles. This develops by serving and associating with great sadhus. 226. Though a bhakta's Maya is overcome, compassion and love for Bhagwan remain. Bad impressions of bad sang do not leave even a Brahmrup person. 227. Bhadita anuvritti causes doubts and fears to remain until attaining Nirvikalp Samadhi. But it does not affect a bhakta's liberation. 228. The jeev resides in the Hridyakash but pervades the body. Bhagwan resides within the jeev as a witness. 229. Bhakti with knowledge of Bhagwan's greatness grants higher bliss than the bhakti of a tyagi without such knowledge. 230. The mind is a friend of the jeev, so improper thoughts indicate the jeev's impurity. Fixing the mind firmly at Bhagwan's feet grants his dham. 231. Shriji Maharaj explains that to remain eternally happy, a bhakta must have firm vairagya and swadharma to control the indriyas, intense love for Bhagwan and his bhaktas, and not keep company with vaimukhs. Controlling the indriyas through vairagya and swadharma is key to happiness. 232. Shriji Maharaj describes how the senior sadhus stand vigilantly at the gateway of Bhagwan's abode in the form of inner awareness. They do not let anything besides Bhagwan enter their hearts, remaining absorbed in Bhagwan's seva while outwardly performing worldly duties. Bhaktas should similarly remain vigilant in bhakti. 233. Shriji Maharaj refutes the belief that Vrindavan remains during final destruction, asking for Shastra references. He explains that only Parabrahman is eternal, not anything manifested from Prakriti. The Jiva, Maya, Ishvara, Brahma, and Parabrahman are eternal. 234 Shriji Maharaj says, to develop unflinching bhakti, one must have a profound love for Bhagwan like Sitaji, who found no faults in Rama despite exile. Bhakti with such understanding is superior to intense Vairagya and Dharma with lesser understanding. 235 Perceiving flaws in Bhagwan or his saint makes one demonic like a rabid dog. Bodily relations, even if devotees, are like poison-laced milk. Detach from them and lovingly serve Bhagwan for Kalyan. This teaching protects one from obstacles. 236 Shriji Maharaj explains how his unflinching love and inclination for Bhagwan remains constant despite any circumstances. A bhakta should similarly see God's wish as his own prarabdha and remain undisturbed, pleased with what pleases God. 237 To develop a love for God, one must realize all worldly pleasures are experienced in all life forms naturally, not due to effort. So craving them is wrong. Good company and deeds minimize this craving and enable God's love to develop. 238 Outward flaws in a perfect saint are due to compassion to uplift others. A true devotee has unflinching faith and does not doubt the saint's words. 239 Bhakti which relieves the mind's pain from worldly indulgences should be used in worship. This individual strength relieves the wounds of Vishais like bandages, enabling single-minded devotion. 240 A devotee's fidelity should be unwavering like a virtuous wife focused only on her husband. Attachment to even great beings besides one's personal God should not arise. Bharatji's affection for a deer led to a deer's body. 241 Worldly desires that arise in dreams are due to embedded desires created by past karmas. As one associates with a Satpurush, these desires gradually wear away. When thoughts related to God displace worldly desires, one's worldly desires are reduced. 242 Two undesirable traits for a tyagi are lust and affection for relatives. Excessive affection for relatives is a greater sin than the 5 great sins. A tyagi bhakta should realize his Chaitanya is distinct from the body and relatives. He should think, I am the Atma, I have no relations with anyone. 243 Swabhav and Vasana refer to karmas performed in past lives that become absorbed in the Jiva. Bhakti to Krishna with Atmanishtha is the means to eradicate Vasana. Bhakti without Atmanishtha leads to the love of God and material objects. 244 Bhagavad Dharma and Ekantik Dharma that leads to God are equal to Bhakti. Dharma of Varna and Ashram alone is inferior. Flaws should not be seen in devotees except lapses in major woes. One should see one's own flaws and others' virtues. 245 One should practice satsang with firmness after attaining Atmanishtha, not with worldly affection. True devotees remain loyal to satsang despite miseries. Their love for satsang and God does not diminish. 246 Looking at devotees lustfully is a greater sin than adultery in satsang. Women devotees should be viewed as mothers, sisters, and daughters. Understand all devotees' greatness collectively, not greater-lesser individual greatness, to avoid excessive thought. 247 One should perform Mansi Puja to God according to seasons, visualizing his clothes, jewelry, environment, foods, etc. This increases love. When lectured by God and devotees, one should feel fortunate they remove flaws, not grief or insignificance. 248 Do spiritual activities for God's happiness, not other rewards like mukti. Even the poor can please God with Shraddha. A true devotee does not fall back in devotion despite miseries. He progresses with time. 249 God dislikes repeatedly questioning his words, interrupting him, and relying solely on oneself without God. God is pleased by moral conduct, faith in karma, reputation concerns, and seeing one's own flaws and others' virtues. 250 A saint who suppresses the gunas, is not suppressed by them, worships God as Brahma is worthy of God's seva. One should have genuine Atmanishtha, understand God's greatness, and firmly observe dharma to be moral. 251 There are two ways one can fall from bhakti, by believing Bhagwan is formless, or by desiring pleasures in Golok Vaikunth. To prevent this, one should have bhakti with Gyan and Vairagya. 252 For one with weak Vairagya, it is better to be a householder than a Tyagi. Intense Vairagya comes from a love for a Satpurush, not thinking. 253 Maharaj appreciates those who worship the divine light and Murti of Bhagwan. He is always conscious of impermanence, unfinished work, eradicating desires, inspecting devotees' minds, and maintaining happiness to inspire others. 254 The Murti in Akshardham and the Pratyaksh Murti of Bhagwan are the same. The Murti appears differently depending on where it is visualized during Dhyan. 255 True devotees understand Bhagwan's greatness and obey his commandments. Misusing his greatness as an excuse for adharma is demonic. 256 Few can resist wealth, women, and children. One is unaffected only by intense vairagya or loving Bhagwan. An ekantik bhakta desires only Bhagwan's seva. 257 To maintain desire only for Bhagwan, one must diligently follow dharma niyams and bhakti. Anger to uphold dharma is not a flaw. 258 Forcefully changing one's nature is disturbing, but finding fault in oneself, not God or the saint, is good. Insulting a saint insults God in his heart. 259 A true saint believes in Sagun Bhagwan, practices ekantik bhakti, tolerates criticism, dislikes bad company, and is transparent. 260 Taking refuge in the Pratyaksh Murti of Bhagwan is the greatest spiritual activity. The company of those who believe the Supreme Lord to be formless is the greatest obstacle. One who has known Bhagwan's bliss does not forget it amid misery, just like a fallen king recalls past luxuries. 261 Shriji Maharaj explains that all forms that evolved from Maya are false, while Akshardham and Bhagwan's Muktas are eternal. Bhagwan incarnates on earth to grant liberation to jeeves. To be happy, one must eradicate the 6 vices: greed, lust, taste, body identification, bad company, and attachment, and follow Bhagwan's Agna. 262 Maya is the sense of I-ness and minus towards the body. To go beyond Maya, these must be eradicated. One should realize the Atma to be distinct from the body and understand Bhagwan's greatness, having countless Brahmans under his control. This gives vairagya and love for God. Bhagwan is blissful and his dham is outstanding. One who realizes this can withdraw from worldly pleasures. There is only one Bhagwan controlling everything systematically. These truths strengthen faith. Shriji Maharaj speaks from experience, not imagination. Bhugol, Khagol, Astronomy and Geography. This letter from Shriji Maharaj to his devotees describes the structure of the universe according to Vedic cosmology. It emphasizes the rarity and significance of attaining human birth, particularly in the sacred lands of Bharatkhand, as it provides the best opportunity for achieving moksha, liberation. The letter outlines the 14 lokas, realms, of the universe, from Bhulok to Satyalok, and describes the 7 islands, Saptadvip, that constitute the earth. Bharatkhand, The realm that encompasses India is considered the most sacred as it is where avatars are born and Sadgurus grant moksha. The letter provides details about the immense durations of time according to Vedic units of measurement, including yugas, manvantaras, and days of Brahma, explaining the cycles of creation and destruction. It emphasizes the wise use of human birth to attain moksha, warning that misuse of it for worldly pleasures under a false guru leads to suffering in hellish realms for an immense duration before getting another chance. Overall, it conveys the temporariness of material existence and emphasizes making spiritual efforts under a Sadguru's guidance to attain the eternal goal of moksha.